Hello. I'm happy to 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 pass on to the next step, and that is will be more practical. Talking about what kind of cameras can you use to make a documentary, what kind of shot, what kind of composition, will there be any special lighting? Will you be on the place you want to choose, or just send someone who can make first shots for footage? Will you use other people's footage, or take some shots from elsewhere and include them in your project? Will you have a reduced team, or you will have sufficient budget to have more than technicians, than cameraman, than DOP, and for sound editing, for light editing? And will you be comfortable enough to use all the sophisticated equipment that you will use in your project? No, there are certain questions that should be asked before getting on the project itself, because guerrilla documentary, as it is called, normally it is shot not in studios. That's why a documentary has a vivid particularity, and shooting with people who are in their quotidian life, on daily life. And most of the times you don't require sophisticated, now with new technologies you can use as minimum, as reduced materials as possible. So for example, the first thing that you can use is, it could be even your iPhone or your mobile phone or whatever, but it should at least have good sound quality and image quality. Now, a camera like this for Pentax that I use, and it has very good qualities either on image, but it may be used for day shooting. Now I have another camera which is a Sony, which is I use for night shots. Now here, and I know many directors who can make a difference or use daily shots with cameras and night shot for with other cameras. Now the basic principle is that when getting into the project of making your films, you have the questions you have normally to ask is, for example, there will be the question of filmage. It means you will act directly. Will you shoot your cameras first with different cameras? Because sometimes you might have that problem of making the same shooting with the same frames and the same lighting, but you can manage that, and you can mend it while making the editing. So even the actors and so on. So I get to consider that while taking your shots, you have a particular artistic way, and here we spoke about the aesthetic management of your documentary. It means you don't want it just to be as rude as possible, but you have a certain artistry that is in it, and what you call the aesthetic value of it, and even this what material, what cameras, what else you have at your disposal to make that possible. And normally, as I said, If you have a DOP, you have a person who might get in charge of the sound and others who make framing, and you have somebody who might help in taking the voice or voice over, who manages to help either in carrying the material or making the frames or whatever. I mean, you can be lucky enough because sometimes we talk about cinematography and we talk to people as if they were filmmakers. Now, having good quality material doesn't make of yourself a good filmmaker. So I think it's a matter of choice and artistic choice, and in so doing, and we come to the point that I wanna share with you here, is that any project should have a project plan. I mean, the milestones and the roles that you are going to give to each member of your team, and what task you would do. And the planning and the managing of the scenes will help you later on, afterwards, to make a good editing of your shots. And without and getting over the topic and concentrating on the theme and the audience and the goals, will let you have confidence in yourself and even in your material. Because while on the spot and while shooting with sufficient enough good quality materials, you can have good pictures. And even sometimes we have the problems of framing our shots and composition, but not necessarily, because even if your documentary is active enough, vivid enough, I mean, sometimes it's an artistic touch that might be added. But the sound and the colors and the motions and the person who directs the shot should have at least a visual composition while working with your camera. And I think that getting familiar with the material you have, with the camera you have, will give you enough shape and enough freedom to play with your camera. Otherwise, you will not have surprises. And I think writing and rereading your script and with your team might help a lot to create the atmosphere you will need. So working in team is not something easy. So you would have at least to get on the ground and at least make some trials and see how you work on, and get back home and look at the footage and see how you can learn from the shots you have been taking. Otherwise, it will be too late if you shoot all the material over 2 days or 3 days time. So another thing is that you get to know somebody who can make out of the best thing of your material, and working with the logiciels and the application that are required for your type of your project. And I think the first thing to remember and to remind yourself of is that you are working on a mini documentary project, because you cannot get once in all in a lengthy documentary. The more condensity, the more concise it is, the more dramatic it can be, because the more lengthy and the longer your documentary may have, the more it requires from you more hard work, more either on shooting or editing or color correction and whatever. So I think getting all the materials needed for your basic work, and clearing all the rights. For example, if you want to make some music, you should have the copyright, or you get free of charge extracts of music that you can make. So I believe that getting a short list and a draft of the script and the draft of the interview that you want to ask people, and choosing the participants and having all the details on the participants, maybe photos of them, and actors that will act in your project will help a lot, and will make your work easy. So apart from that, I believe that getting over the hard task of writing your screen, there are other steps that might be involved in, and that's the film editing, the sound editing, what visual effects you can add, what musical extracts you can put in your documentary, and who is going to make the direction of the film, and most importantly is the cinematographer, of course. Of course, you are not a great, you don't consider to make a great perfect work, but the more practice you can make, the more perfect you can become. And I wish good luck to all documentary filmmakers. I hope this has been valuable enough and helpful enough, and wish you all the best. Thank you very much, and thank you for MENA Film Festival for inviting me to present this online workshop. Bye everyone.